In Israel right now, there's this incredible split-screen reality happening. On one side, you've got the story we all see in the headlines, the conflict, the tension. But on the other side, there's a completely different story unfolding, one of amazing innovation, resilience, and growth. To really get what's going on, you have to look at both of them together. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the geopolitical landscape you're probably familiar with, and then we're going to pivot to the crazy tech scene that's reshaping the country. After that, we'll dive into some personal stories, see how communities are literally rebuilding from the ground up, and finally, we'll zoom out to see how Israel connects to the rest of the world. So first things first, let's ground ourselves in the reality that really dominates the news cycle, right? The ongoing conflict, the security operations, and all the high-stakes diplomacy that defines the region. And right at the heart of that conflict are the intense efforts to bring hostages home. This quote you see really highlights the painful reality of those negotiations. You've got sources saying Hamas could return the remains of several hostages, which you can imagine just creates this incredibly complex and sensitive situation, with the whole world pushing for some kind of resolution. What you're seeing here is a real multi-layered security situation. On one hand, you have this forward-looking diplomacy, with countries like Indonesia and Azerbaijan being talked about for a future stabilization force. But at the exact same time, you have these immediate, on-the-ground operations, from Egyptian teams helping search for hostages to Mossad and Shin Bet running counterterrorism ops. It's this dual approach of planning for the long term while acting in the here and now. Okay, now, take all of that and put it to one side for a second. Because while all of that is going on, a completely different reality isn't just surviving, it's absolutely thriving. We're talking about Israel's economy, especially its high-tech sector, moving forward with massive deals at a blistering pace. And it all starts with smart ideas solving big problems. Take a startup like Darwin AI, founded by Israelis. They just locked down a $15 million funding round to help U.S. government agencies, of all people, manage their own AI systems responsibly. Then you scale up a bit. We're talking about the building blocks of the future economy here. In the crypto world, a digital asset firm called Fireblocks just made a huge move, buying a U.S. wallet platform called Dynamic. That deal valued at around $90 million. And then the numbers just get huge, often driven by the security situation itself. A joint venture between Israel's IWI and India's Adani Group landed a mind-boggling $3.3 billion contract to supply hundreds of thousands of assault rifles to the Indian Army. And this number, well, this one's hard to even wrap your head around. It just shows the sheer global scale of companies with deep roots in Israel. The chip giant Nvidia, which has over 5,000 employees in the country, recently shot up to a market valuation of $4.5 trillion. It's a perfect example of how Israeli talent is powering some of the biggest companies on the planet. So here's the big takeaway. These are not just one-off things. As you can see from this table, there's a super diverse and robust economic engine at work here. We're talking AI, defense, blockchain, and even satellite communications, where Gilat just hit a 4-year stock high. There's this powerful current of innovation just driving everything forward. Okay, so we've seen the geopolitics and we've seen the big money. But let's zoom in from the boardrooms to the personal lives of people on the ground. How does this dual reality actually feel day to day? Well, the answer, pretty remarkably, is that life just keeps going with this incredible force. Right alongside all the grief and tension, you find these profound stories of courage, of hope, and just the simple, powerful desire to build a future. I mean, you see these incredible examples of public resilience. Take Gadi Moses, a former hostage who was just honored with the Ben-Gurion Award. And why? For his leadership and his very public promise to go back and rebuild his home, Kibbutz near Oz. It's just a powerful symbol of defiance and hope. And then you get these deeply personal moments of joy that just cut through everything. Eli Cohen, another former hostage, recently proposed to his girlfriend on a rooftop in Tel Aviv. And get this, he used the very same ring he had bought for her before he was taken captive. It's just this powerful symbol of life refusing to be put on hold. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is when those two realities, the trauma of the past and a determined investment in the future, actually come together in one single place. Check this out. Kibbutz Be'eri,
It was one of the communities hit the hardest during the October 7th attacks, and it just made its largest investment since that day. $35 million poured directly into renewable energy.
You know, this is so much more than a business deal. The kibbutz is using income from its own businesses, including its famous printing press, to buy a huge stake in a solar energy company. It's this defiant act of rebuilding. They're not just restoring what was lost, they're investing in a cleaner, more sustainable future for everybody. So finally, let's zoom out one last time. How does this really complex internal reality connect with the rest of the world? Well, the answer is in countless ways, across culture, business, and entertainment. I mean, this is just a quick snapshot of that global integration. You've got an Israeli hotel chain buying a $125 million property in Manhattan. You've got a defense contractor in talks to upgrade Argentina's fighter jets. You have Israeli players making headlines on the NBA's opening night. Even Kim Kardashian is investing in an Israeli-founded tech startup. And of course, Maccabi Tel Aviv is winning huge games in European basketball. Each one of these is a thread in a much larger global web. So here's the thing to take away from all this. The story of Israel, like any nation really, is never just one thing. It's the tension of holding grief and hope in the same breath. It's the paradox of dealing with immediate threats while making these huge long-term investments in the future. And if you only see the conflict, or you only see the innovation, you're missing the complete, complex, and deeply human picture of what's really going on.